It's a shame. It's a thriller with intelligence.
The women flying as hell.
Morgan Freeman and Ashley Judd give remarkable performances.
I bet these women are alive.
5 stars.
Killing somebody's ulterior motive.
The most intense psychological thriller of the year.
This guy's an Atlantis.
The heart-racing ride. It's a perfect 10. Kiss the Girls. Rated R. Now playing everywhere.
Like I said, Morgan Freeman plays Alex Cross, who's a Washington, D.C. cop and forensic psychologist who learns that his niece, who's going to college in North Carolina, is missing, so he goes there and learns that the police think she's among the victims who were somehow kidnapped by a guy who kidnaps young girls and holds them captive and kills them, who dubs themselves Casanova after the Great Lover. Later, this woman, played by Ashley Judd, escapes and tries to help Cross find her niece. And Alex Cross has been in a couple of movies, 2 of them with Morgan Freeman, and then there was one, the last one was with Tyler Perry, which did not perform very well whatsoever, but people still seem to come around to Morgan Freeman as Alex Cross. I mean, this one became a big hit, despite the fact it got pretty negative reviews when it came out, and actually the film was not shown in some theaters in Central Virginia at the time of its release because there was an unsolved murder of 3 teenage girls in the area, and the plot is pretty much the same thing as that, and so they did that out of respect for the families and surrounding communities, and so the murders were eventually solved and attributed to this guy, Richard Ivanowitz. But like I said, this film did not get a whole lot of good reviews. I mean, Morgan Freeman was praised for his performance as Alex Cross in here, but everything else about the movie seemed like it was pretty clunky and offered a few surprises to it. Not a whole lot of people gave it a whole lot of good praise for it. And, honestly, I kind of tend to agree with them. Like, despite the fact that Morgan Freeman is very good in this film, as is Ashley Judd, I think the movie as a whole is kind of a formulaic... It's a formulaic thriller, honestly. Like, there's no real big twist. There's nothing too engaging or too exciting about the movie. It's about the story or what the big suspense is going to be at the end. Like, you can kind of figure out where it's going to go. It doesn't really have a whole lot of surprises to really make it stand out on its own. It's a film that just really feels... It feels very formulaic. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot there that could really make this work as well as it should. But, like I said, people went to go see it, and it did become a hit, and there was an eventual sequel that came after this, which is better. Along Came a Spider, but we'll get to that one once we get to 2001. But, as far as this film goes, it's just okay for what it is. It certainly could have been a whole lot better, but as it is, it's a pretty forgettable movie, but mostly works because Morgan Freeman is Alex Cross, and he does play the role very well here. Other than that, though, that's about pretty much all you can say about this movie. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie we have here, and that is Oliver Stone's U-Turn.
Yes, it's a good day for singing a song, and it's a good day.
All he wanted was to get from here to there. When he discovered you can't get there.
Oh, no, not
From here.
Hey! Just take a look at the radiator hose. I think it's busted.
What's your radiator hose? It's busted. In the town of Superior, Arizona.
Dog looks sick.
That's because he's dead.
What? Things ain't always what they seem.
They have a special name
Toby and Tucker. Call me TNT.
for strangers.
You ain't planning on staying around here.
And here I made you all hot and sweaty.
Who are just passing through.
Who the hell are you? I'm her husband.
It's roadkill.
Well, hey, bud. What happened to my car?
I don't know, but it's the reason I'm living here, and you're just passing through.
You're not still upset over that little love tap, are you?
Can't live with him, can't live without him.
Can't live with him, can't shoot him.
Would you? Without what? Would you kill her?
Here's money. Please do it for me, Bobby.
This car ain't going nowhere till I get money.
Kill her.
Kill her.
You think you can take the money and dump me?
What? We love each other. We're gonna run off and I'm gonna have his love child.
Is everybody in this town on drugs? I don't think you understand.
I have to get out of here. You got any requests?
Sean Penn.
Is everybody crazy in this crazy town?
Jennifer Lopez.
Tighter. I won't break.
Nick Nolte.
Man's got no ethics since a free man.
Howard Spoon.
Kind of peculiar how things happen.
Claire Danes.
I'm gonna be 18 in 2 years.
Joaquin Phoenix.
I'm just like Dynamite Boy, and when I go off, somebody gets hurt.
fun. I'm Billy Bob
You
Thornton.
think bad, then bad's what you get.
An Oliver Stone movie.
40,000 people die every day. How come you're not one?
U-turn.
I'm sorry, I guess David Lynch also directed this movie too, because that trailer clearly was edited like a David Lynch movie, and not a particularly good one, and that's probably the best way to describe this movie, man. I mean, for Oliver Stone to have as many successes that he had up to this point, I mean, think about it. Platoon, Wall Street, Talk Radio, Born on the 4th of July, The Doors, JFK, Natural Born Killers, Nixon. This was really the first real misfire by Oliver Stone as a filmmaker, and it's just like I said, it just feels like he was trying to copy too much of David Lynch's style. Like, you can definitely tell that's a David Lynch caliber trailer with all these different kind of black comedic elements to it, but just really, it just didn't come together all that well, despite the cast that they have here. I mean, you see the names in there: Sean Penn, Jennifer Lopez, Nick Nolte, Powers Booth, Claire Danes, Joaquin Phoenix, Billy Bob Thornton, John Voight's also in the film, as is Adrian Ben Ruby, Julie Haggerty's also in here, Laurie Metcalf, Liv Tyler has a cameo in this movie too. It's written by a good writer too, John Ridley. John Ridley went on to, of course, write 12 Years a Slave, which won the Oscar for Best Picture. And I don't know, the movie itself just feels like, it doesn't feel like there's really anything interesting or intriguing happening in this movie to make it kind of enjoyable to watch. Like, you don't get invested in these characters whatsoever. Yeah, Jennifer Lopez can look very sexy in this movie all she wants to, but you know what? Just like with all the celebrity news scenes in bad movies, you can just go online and look for those scenes, and you really see the best the sexy scenes on there, and you don't have to watch this movie, because there's nothing about this movie that is investing whatsoever. It's a boring movie. It's a movie that has a tone that's just all over the place. It's not really funny. It's not really that suspenseful. It's not really all that clever. It just feels like a movie that never knows exactly what direction it wants to go in, and it just kind of feels like you have to try something to make this kind of stand out, and it doesn't really work that way. Like I said, it feels like Oliver Stone's trying too hard to be David Lynch, and David Lynch, it's hard to do what David Lynch does with his movies. They're not all great movies, but they have this unique look to them that's just like, you know what? I can see where you're coming from, and I can see where you're actually going with this. But as far as this movie goes, it's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad movie. It's the first real major misfire for Oliver Stone as a filmmaker. Like, there's been a couple of ones that, in between his good streak, where they weren't great, but they at least tried. This one didn't feel like he was trying whatsoever. It felt like it was being forced onto you, and it just didn't work. It's a mess on so many levels. Avoid this one like the plague. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Janine Garofalo in The Matchmaker.
Two lonely people together sometimes, and it's like they've known each other all their lives.
From Gramercy Pictures.
I have landed smack in the middle of a matchmaking festival.
You want to take her for a test drive?
This isn't a humiliate the Taurus scenario.
No.
No offense, but I do not want to get married.
It's the most natural thing in the world.
Oh,
Janine Garofalo.
You're a big city kind of girl. You're Mary Tyler Moore.
oh yes. I'm so very Mary Tyler Moore.
The Matchmaker. Rated R. Opens tomorrow at theaters everywhere.
A mostly forgettable romantic comedy with Janine Garofalo in it. Janine Garofalo, who was just in The Truth About Cats and Dogs years prior to this, which was a fun movie for what it was. Formulaic, but still a ton of fun. And to her credit, she's not the worst thing about the movie. I mean, she really is the best. She's far from it. I think she is the best thing about the movie overall. Like, she does give a good performance. She does carry a lot of the weight of the movie overall. But as far as the movie itself goes, it's just kind of mediocre. There's nothing really too exciting going on other than Garofalo's performance. Despite Dennis Leary also being in here as well. You also have Saffron Burrows, David O'Hara and Maya O'Shea are also in this as well. But other than that, though, the movie itself is just pretty mediocre for the most part. The only reason I think you should watch this movie is because of Garofalo. But other than that, though, it's not something I'd rush out to see right away. If you really want to see a lot of the best works by Garofalo, watch this one, and you get one of her best performances overall, but the movie itself is not going to be anything too exciting overall. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about The Matchmaker, and now let's move on to the next movie we have here, and that is Errol Morris's Fast, Cheap, and Out of Control.
When they come through
through the door, you've got about 3 seconds to do what we call read them. Are they coming after you? If you're not scared of them, you're in big trouble.
Errol Morris, the same man that gave us such documentaries as Gates of Heaven, The Thin Blue Line, A Brief History of Time. This is his latest film, and it follows various different people. It kind of takes 4 subjects with extraordinary group. Here's you have a wild animal trainer, you have a topiary gardener at Green Animals Topiary Garden in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, an expert on naked mole rats at the Philadelphia Zoo, and an MIT scientist who works in robotics. And you have all these different people trying to go through this narration of the story here, and I don't know. I mean, I don't think it has a whole lot there to really make it stand out. I've seen some of Morris's other documentaries, The Gates of Heaven, as well as A Brief History of Time, and I think those are far better movies, but as far as this one goes, I saw it, and I was just kind of like, the connection there isn't really making a whole lot of sense. It's not that it's bad, per se. It is a competently made movie. It has some good elements to it, but at the same time, there's not really a whole lot there that kind of makes it unique or something very different. But it just feels like they're just taking 4 different documentaries and just meshing them together into just one big one. Like, it's like it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense why these 4 elements had to come together as it did. I mean, it could just be me on that front there, but I didn't get the same kind of satisfaction I got with this than I did with some of Morris's other documentaries, and that's just my personal take on it. I didn't think it was all that. I didn't think it was worth it all that much, but I might be alone on that factor here. So that's Fast, Cheap, and Out of Control. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and we have Vince Vaughn, Kate Capshaw in The Locust.
He was just looking for work.
Is this the man for the job?
You really think she'll hire me? If I know her, she'd give you a room, a job, and a whole lot more you never bargained for.
In a small town with dark secrets.
So you went crazy when you started that? Daddy, hang yourself in that tree over there.
He's ready to risk everything.
I wouldn't push too hard if I was single.
To uncover the truth.
I don't have time for a drink.
I suggest you take me up on my offer.
Kate Capshaw, Jeremy Davies, Vince Vaughn, Paul Rudd, Ashley Judd. The Locusts.
I think all you need to say about this movie is that its test screening experienced several audience members leaving the theater with their hands over their mouths after a scene with a full graphic bull castration. And I think, honestly, that's all you need to know about this movie. Apparently, the marketing chief at MGM basically said that audience members must have reacted only to what they expect to see, while the president of Worldwide Distribution said, you can do anything to a human being in a movie, just don't hurt an animal. Like, I don't know what the hell they were thinking about that. Thinking when they saw that movie, it's just kind of like really, it's like really, that's what you need to sell this movie on. It's just like that's one of those things where you look at that and you think, this is gonna be the thing that's gonna make people want to at least check this movie out, rather than the actual movie itself. But the actual movie itself is pretty bland. It's a mediocre melodramatic movie, and even that scene in particular, it's not really worth it when it's all said and done. It just feels like they just had to put it there because nobody was going to go see this movie otherwise. It's a boring, boring movie. Despite the fact that it has the people involved in it, Vince Vaughn, Jeremy Davies, Kate Capshaw, Paul Rudd, Ashley Judd, there's nothing too exciting about this one. It's a mess of a film. It's a film that's not really all that interesting or all that exciting. And even that one scene that got the controversy over it, it's not worth it for that. It's just a forgettable film. Speaking of forgettable films, let's talk about Washington Square.
From the acclaimed director of The Secret Garden,
A Woman Without Guile, what a rarity.
the movie critics have called brilliant, moving, and beautifully acted.
That's his only talent, hoodwinking dim-witted young ladies out of their inheritances.
You must put an end to this torture. Tell Morris you don't love him.
I do love him.
Easily one of the best films of the year.
I'll go to him. I'll beg him.
I don't want or need his money. Washington Square.
Together, we have sanctuary.
Rated PG. Now playing in select cities. Check newspapers for showtime.
A movie that I thought was some kind of crime drama, but it's anything but that. It's directed by the person who did the Secret Garden. I was about to say The Black Stallion. It's got Jennifer Jason Leigh, Albert Finney, Ben Chaplin, Maggie Smith, and Judith Ivey in it. And it's based off of Henry James's novel of the same name, which was filmed as The Heiress in 1949. Did not do well with critics, honestly, and it was... no, I take that back. It did well with critics, but it was a huge box office bomb when it came out, because, quite honestly, it's another one of those movies that's really boring. It's nothing that engaging or exciting. Like, even if you had Merchant Ivory on this film, it still wouldn't have been enough to sell this film. It feels just kind of bland and mediocre, despite the fact that everybody is given their all in this film. It's not worth it in the end. It's just kind of a bland, mediocre mess of a film. Like, it's not really that engaging. It's not really all that exciting. It's just there, and it's nothing really all that interesting on any way, shape, or form. At least in my personal opinion. So, that's Washington Square. So let's go ahead and move on to the last movie we have here, and that is Forgotten Silver.
I'm in a small town called Pukekohe Bay in New Zealand. Behind me is a lady called Hannah Mackenzie. It's about a year ago, I had a call from my mother. She said I should drop in on Auntie Hannah sometime because she was wondering if I'd be interested in a lot of old films that she had stored in a shed at the bottom of her garden.
So this was a documentary by Peter Jackson, as you see in the trailer there, about a pioneering New Zealand filmmaker, Colin Mackenzie, and the rediscovery of his lost films, which presenter Peter Jackson claims to have found in an old shed. And what they find out is, when this movie came out, everyone thought this was a serious documentary. Everyone thought that this was real. This was based off a real person in real life. But then, shortly after the movie came out, Jackson revealed that it was a hoax, and eventually that created controversy. But it was later screened at film festivals and eventually made its way to theaters in 1997, 2 years after it first premiered in New Zealand. I've never seen the documentary per se. I don't know if it's any good or not, but it's a fun idea. It's a fun idea to play around with, honestly. So I don't doubt it's a bad movie. I don't doubt it's a good movie. It probably is a very entertaining film. It's not even a film, honestly. It's only about 53 minutes long, So, I don't know. Maybe it's actually pretty good. I mean, I've never seen it before, so I can't really say if it's any good or not. So, that's Peter Jackson's Forgotten Silver.
Mandalay Entertainment presents Brad Pitt in the story of a man who pushed himself beyond all borders. Get down! Tested himself beyond all limits. And found himself at the top of the world. 7 years in Tibet. Rated PG-13. Opens October 8th in select cities. October 10th.
This is the latest film from John Giacomini, who also gave us The Lover, The Bear, The Name of the Rose, Quest for Fire. This is his latest film. And for Brad Pitt, this was one of those many attempts to try to get him an Oscar. And just like many of those attempts, this is one of those terrible ones that tried to do that. I mean, this is a film that has a lot of potential to it, but just from that trailer alone, you could pretty much tell this was an Oscar bait movie. You could tell that nobody was really looking to make a grand, serious story. No, they just wanted to make a movie to give Brad Pitt a chance to win an Academy Award, which he would eventually do later on with much better films. Argo, he won as a producer on that, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, although I would say that was not the best performance. That was not the great of a movie. His performance was fine in that, but at the same time, he should have won an Oscar for something much better than that. He's been in so many other better movies where he should have won an Academy Award. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, winning for that just felt like a movie that the Academy. It's one of those times when the Academy just says, you know, you've been a great actor all these years, and we don't think you're going to win for anything else. Take this Oscar for this movie where you're probably the best thing about it, but the movie itself was not as great as everyone said it is. At least in my opinion, it wasn't. But I think everybody can agree that 7 Years in Tibet was pretty bland and mediocre. It is not an engaging film whatsoever. It's a pretty boring movie, to say the least. And this director did a really great film with The Bear, where you just have a bear as the main focus of the film. He's the main character of the film, and you don't really have to do anything with human characters in it. That movie was more compelling than this movie is. Let that sink in for a little bit, because man, this is a boring film. This is a really dull film. Like, I tried to get into it. I mean, it's got music by John Williams. It's got a performance by Yo-Yo Ma, one of the greatest cellists of all time. It has David Thewlis, B.D. Wong, Mako's in the movie. And there's still nothing about it that makes it worth it. It's a pretty bland and boring movie. Like, I can't remember being so bored of watching a film in so many years. I mean, it's a movie that just has nothing really in it to make it really stand out here. The visuals aren't even all that engaging. Like, this isn't even really that great of a movie to look at. It's just a boring movie, and there's just nothing in there that makes it worth the watch at all. Like, it's a really terrible movie. It's a really boring movie, a dull film. There's nothing about it that makes it work in the end. It's just a pretty bland, forgettable movie. So, yeah, 7 Years in Tibet was not a good movie. Nor is our next movie, by the way, which is... I mean, you can tell just by the trailer alone that you're in for something really, really terrible. This is Rocket Man, and not the Rocket Man you're thinking of. No. I'd rather be talking about that Rocket Man, the Elton John biopic, than what you're about to see here.
Mars, the red planet. For billions of years, it just sat there. Peaceful, quiet, unsuspecting. But one man is going to change all that.
And now, our final member of the Mars team, astronaut Fred Randall.
Rocket Man.
This kid is hard to last. Hope.
He's fearless.
Hello, my little Ewok. Computer genius. You're supposed to be a little weird. A little?
He's determined.
Hey, how fast does this little tree twirl?
What's the most important thing at NASA, children?
And he's got nowhere to go.
Are we there yet?
But up. This fall.
Be careful you don't get sucked out when you flush.
Fred Randall's more than a hero.
Oh, I should have had those space beams.
He's a breath of fresh air.
What? Oh my God. No. Look at that. Oh, man.
I mean, would you expect anything less from the director of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3? No joke. This is directed by Stuart Gillard, who also did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. And I'm just going to say it. They ripped off The Simpsons. The Simpsons did this concept a whole lot better. And it was much more funnier. It was much more clever. This is just the space version of Biodome, which coincidentally, this has William Sadler in it too. I mean, he was also in Biodome. Of course, he basically Walter Peck was in both this and Biodome, and he pretty much plays the exact same character. He has to deal with an obnoxious moron in this movie, and the jokes just aren't funny. It's really, really a terrible movie. It isn't clever whatsoever. It's just not engaging whatsoever. It's a really bad movie. Like, you saw that I stopped the trailer because after that scene, it's just like, do I really need to show you anything else in this trailer to make you not want to see this movie? Like I said before, we talked about this way back at the beginning of the year in '97, that Disney was in this lull of really, really bad live-action movies. You know, this, That Darn Cat, Jungle to Jungle, and we haven't even gotten to the worst ones yet. George of the Jungle was that one little gem that they had, and then just most of this was just pretty much crap. There was a lot of crappy movies that came out during this stretch, beginning in this particular year in '97. We haven't even gotten to stuff like Flubber, Mr. Magoo, Meet the Deedles, I'll Be Home for Christmas, My Favorite Martian. Oh, no. We still got a good several years of this to go, and you know, honestly, what more do I even need to say about this movie? It isn't even that clever, and the only real surprising thing about this movie is that it's written by the same guy that gave us the Last of Us TV series and Chernobyl, Craig Mazin, and also the Hangover movies, which started off strong and then just fell off after that. But think about that. This was one of the early films from that director, from that writer, I should say, from that creator of Last of Us. Like, he has done it all: writer, director, creator, yada yada yada. I mean, Harlan Williams can be funny. I've seen him be funny in a lot of other movies, but in here, he's just playing an obnoxious twin in this movie, and you have no sympathy towards him whatsoever. And it's just like, it's a really bad movie. It's a really bad film. And like I said, it just basically rips off the Simpsons episode where Homer goes into space. And I mean, that's much more funny and more clever than this movie will ever be. I mean, it's just not an engaging film. It's not that intriguing. It's not that interesting. It's not that funny. Even when I saw this movie coming out in theaters, I was like, I'm never gonna go see this movie because this looks completely horrible. And this is an 8-year-old me saying this, but what more do I gotta say, man? Rocket Man, it looks absolutely horrible. Just give me the Elton John biopic already, because that's the better movie with this title. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is No, this movie would have been better if it had Keanu Reeves. Then again, maybe not. Keenan Ivory Wayans and John Voight in Most Wanted.
I command a small elite unit. Man with your military background and experience makes your ideal candidate. Welcome to our fam, Sergeant Dunn.
The operative has been recruited.
We have been given the green light, people. We are go mission.
The target package has been assigned.
It is imperative that tomorrow's mission be a success. You will have to kill you. Up there! He's up there! Get him! There's been a mistake. The First Lady's been hit. I repeat, the First Lady's been hit.
The witnesses have all been targeted.
You were there.
I didn't tell anybody anything.
Look, I didn't kill anybody, okay? All I want is tape.
The evidence has been suppressed.
It's a matter of national security. We can't afford to have them poking around. This is the latest police composite sketch of the suspect.
Can Keenan Ivory Wayans just go back to being funny again, man? Because you're not because I'm sorry, you're not an action guy. Like, I know you've been trying to do this now for the last couple of years with A Low Down Dirty Shame, and then you had The Glimmerman last year with Steven Seagal. But this is just pushing it, and he wrote this too. Like, he really thought to himself that he was going to be the next big action star, and he's just not. I mean, he's a funny dude. I'm going to Get You, Sucker, and Living Color. I mean, like I hope it's like, I'm glad he got away from this type of stuff shortly after this, because then he did the Scary Movie films, which took him back to the comedic part of his career. And I mean, not everything after that was great, but it's certainly a lot better than it. Certainly, I would appreciate more of those than any of these movies where he's trying to be the next big action star, and he's just not. And he just picks these really terrible scripts that are so generic, so bland, so mediocre. It's got a good cast involved here. John Voight in one of his many failed movies where he's embarrassing himself and not even trying. Jill Hennessy's in this from Law & Order. Paul Sorvino, Robert Culp, Eric Roberts, Simon Baker. Really good people being wasted in a film that is so generic, so forced, and judging by what happens in this movie, I'm pretty sure there's a certain party out there that would love to see this happen in real life. I'm not saying who, but I think you can get a good idea what that is. But I digress. Yeah, the movie is terrible. This is another film that's not really all that great, and I'm glad that Keenan Ivory Wayans got out of trying to be the next big action hero after this movie, because stick to comedy, man. I mean, that's really where you're the best at when you're funny. I mean, like I said, not everything you did was great, but at the same time, you're at least trying. So, but at least you're trying on that front. But anyway, so that's Most Wanted. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie we have here, and that is James Belushi and the final film performance of Tupac Shakur in Gang Related.
For two out-of-control cops.
The man in the car is DEA undercover.
You don't get popped by other cops when you're a cop. Back off! The best place to hide.
All they want is someone to go down for the car.
Hey, man, that ain't my guns. Honey, you got your fingerprints on it.
Is behind a bag.
We're gonna find the killer.
We are the killer. James Belushi, Tupac Shakur in his last starring role.
You just can't go around killing everybody.
Gang Related. Rated R. Starts Wednesday at theaters everywhere.
Of course, the story behind this is that this was the final film that Tupac Shakur was in before his death. This actually was shot over a month before his death. It was shot over a period of a month in August of '96, and wrapped filming just 2 weeks before Tupac died on September 13th of the year before. And it's another one of those movies where you look at it and you wonder to yourself, if John Belushi was still alive, would he take on a role like this? Because you see Jim Belushi in here, and you know what? the movie actually isn't that bad. It's actually kind of interesting to see Belushi and Shakur working off each other. It's a story about two corrupt cops who attempt to frame the homeless man, played by Dennis Quaid, for the murder of this undercover DEA agent that they themselves had actually killed. So it's actually a really interesting film. I was actually really surprised at how much I actually kind of enjoyed this film, because the movie overall just feels like a film that really shows the potential of Tupac Shakur at his acting best, and it shows that Jim Belushi has a lot of range as an actor. There's been some movies that we talked about where he tried to be more of a dramatic actor, and not a lot of them really worked here, but in this case, you actually have a really good script. This is written by Jim Koof, who also wrote Stakeout. He also was the director of Disorganized Crime. He also wrote The Hidden. He later wrote Rush Hour, and then stuff like Operation Dumble Drop, Up the Creek, Money Monster. He's been a solid writer over the years, and this is a film that actually I think a lot of people should really take another look at, because I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed this film. Like, I thought it was actually a pretty solid movie. It's kind of like a sort of a precursor to something like End of Watch, in a way where it's not technically the same movie as End of Watch, but you can see a lot of similarities in that movie that would eventually be better presented in that movie than they were in this film. I thought the film worked pretty well. I thought it was actually one of the big surprises I've seen in a long, long time looking at these movies here. I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed it, and like I said, it's a shame that we never got to see more of what Tupac Shakur could do as an actor, because this really could have been the beginning of something bigger for him had he not been killed. And it's a really good movie, man. I'd say definitely check it out. It's actually a very underrated movie, in my opinion. It's a film that I did not think was going to be any good whatsoever, but I was actually really surprised by what I saw here. I'd say definitely check it out. And all things considered, it's one of the stronger films we've looked at so far this week. But we're starting to get now to the more notable films, the actual decent films. And starting off with our next movie that we have here, and that is Parker Posey in the House of Yes.
Marty Pascal is bringing his new fiancée home for the holidays.
Are you in his car? Marty!
Jackie! There's only one problem. He hasn't told his twin sister.
Leslie and I are engaged.
Did you give your sister her medication?
Her name is Jackie.
Did Marty tell you about me? How you were? How's that?
She lives in a White House.
When they came out of the room, Jackie's hand was holding Marty's.
And she's got her own ideas about family values.
It's the wildest place you've ever made love.
I can't talk like that about your brother.
Pretend he's not my brother. I do. Marty, you're home.
Now, she's about to put her house in order.
She doesn't seem like Marty's type.
They're getting married, Jackie.
The phone's dead. Don't look at me. Are you spying on us?
Mother doesn't spy. A mother pays attention.
The New York Times calls House of Yes a screwball comedy.
I mean, just in concept alone, this is pretty fascinating. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like it when it came out, but it's a very interesting film. You have this mentally unbalanced young woman played by Parker Posey who is convinced she's Jackie Kennedy, who flies into a murderous rage when her brother returns home to reveal that he is engaged. And the premise alone is very bizarre, but at the same time, I'm kind of fascinated by it. And I saw a little bit of this movie. I didn't see the whole thing of it, but I gotta say, man, like, Parker Posey really is giving it her all in this movie. I mean, she really is probably the strongest thing about the film from the little bits that I've seen from it. Like I said, I haven't seen the whole thing, but she's playing this she's playing this all too well. Like, I think she actually probably is the strongest thing about this movie, and she gives it her all, man. I mean, it's a funny movie. It's hard to make movies like this a crowd is a hit. I mean, you have a movie here that's trying to make incest sexy, and that's a really, really hard thing to do for obvious reasons. I mean, Cruel Intentions was a big hit, but even in Cruel Intentions, that stuff still doesn't really work out that well here. And now I was thinking that Freddie Prinze Jr. was also in Cruel Intentions, because he's in this movie, but I'm thinking of Ryan Felipe. But like I said, I haven't seen this movie in full. I've only seen the little bits and pieces of it, and Parker Posey probably looks like she's probably the funniest thing about the movie. And she was just coming off a Party Girl a couple years prior to this, and slowly but surely building her name. But other than that, though, I've never seen the rest of the movie, so I don't know if it's any good or not. It's based off of a play by Wendy McLeod, and it's directed by Mark Waters, who would later go on to direct more successful films like Freaky Friday, Mean Girls, Just Like Heaven, Spiderwick Chronicles, Ghost of Girlfriend's Past. So he has made some decent movies since then. But as far as this film goes, from the little bits I've seen from it, it looks like it could be a huge mixed bag, but it looks like Parker Posey probably is the strongest thing about the movie. And yeah, so that's my thoughts on that one. So with that said, on to the next movie, and that is probably the best overall movie from this week, and that is Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights.
One special thing, right? Everyone's blessed with one special thing. I want you to know I plan on being a star. A big, bright, shining star.
Eddie Adams from Taurus.
Yep.
Jack Horner, filmmaker. I make exotic pictures.
In 1977, a kid from nowhere.
Maybe you think about your name.
My name, yeah.
Something a little pizzazz.
Dirk Diggler. Good name. I like your name a lot.
Had a dream of getting somewhere.
Jack Horner has found something special in newcomer Dirk Diggler.
So let me just pop in his 8-track, and you just give a list and tell me what you think, okay?
It was a time when disco was king.
These are the ones. These are great.
Yeah, those are really cool. Are they lizard?
No, they're Italian.
Do you like my shoes?
Pretty cool.
Sex was safe.
Woohoo!
Pleasure was a business.
Cut. Terrific. Nice. Good work.
And business was booming.
And the award for best newcomer goes to Mr. Dirk Diggler.
Wow.
Goodbye, 1979. Hello, 1980. Are you ready?
But in 1980,
Come on, you puppy.
the party was over.
You are fired. What? You're fired.
It's jealousy, it's deceitfulness, it's vindictiveness, but, I mean, God, what can you expect when you're on top?
Oh, wait. Love this part.
New Line Cinema presents a portrait of 2 decades in the life of a business, the days of a dreamer, and the nights in between. Boogie Nights.
Easily the best movie that came out this weekend. You basically have a story taking place in the late 1970s. It follows the Los Angeles' San Fernando Valley, and you follow this dishwasher played by Mark Wahlberg, who becomes a star of pornographic films, chronicling his rise from the golden age of porn in the 70s to his fall during the excesses of the 1980s. And of course, that's, like I said, Mark Wahlberg is playing him, and this is based off of a mockumentary short film by Paul Thomas Anderson called The Dirk Diggler Story, which actually came out 10 years prior to this movie's release. In addition to Mark Wahlberg, you see Julianne Moore, Burt Reynolds, Don Cheadle, John C. Reilly, William H. Macy, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Heather Graham. And Heather Graham in this movie, oh, good lord, she is a beauty in this movie. Her nude scene in this movie alone makes it worth the watch. It's one thing to get naked in a movie, but the way she just does it and just has no regret whatsoever, and just does it within a matter of seconds, it's just like, that sticks with your head for a long time. If you saw this movie back in the day, like I did when I saw this movie for the first time on DVD about 10 years after it came out, I was just like, whoa, hello there. I could see why you were picked for the star in Austin Powers too. But on top of that, though, you got Nicole Parker in here, and a lot of other notable names in here. Luis Guzman's also in here. Thomas Jane, Robert Downey Sr.'s in here. Nina Hartley, Melora Waters, Alfred Molina, Joanna Gleason, Lauren Holloman. It's just a fun movie. The acting overall is well done. Mark Wahlberg is great in this. Burt Reynolds and Julianne Moore are fantastic. They both got Oscar nominations for this, and rightfully so. The writing is top-notch. The comedy is very well done. The dramatic moments are nicely well done. It just is a really damn good movie. It's just an amazing, amazing film that I go back and watch every once in a while, and every time I'm always like, this is still probably his greatest film as a director. And Paul Thomas Anderson has made a lot of really great films. Magnolia is a great film. Punch Drunk Love, brilliant film. That's probably my second favorite movie from his. There Will Be Blood. Inherent Vice is a very underrated movie in my opinion. I really liked his last movie, Licorice Pizza. he's just a great director, and he's certainly a lot better than the other director who unfortunately shares the same first and last name, but keeps directing terrible movies and tries to convince us that his wife is actually worth something. And I'm sorry, Mila Jovovich is not a good actress. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna keep saying it. She sucks as an actress, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about her right now. And what are we talking about? Boogie Nights. But let's go back to the good Paul Thomas Anderson. And like I said, man, Boogie Nights is it's one of those must-see movies. Like, if you want to see a great film from the 1990s, this is definitely one that must be seen. It's definitely high up on the list here. I don't know if it's necessarily in my top 10, honestly. I'd have to look back on it, but it's definitely in the top 20. It's just a great film. Can't recommend it enough. Boogie Nights, terrific film. So with that said, on to the next movie. Another really good movie from this weekend. Uma Thurman starring in The Sweet Hereafter.
It's dull in our town since my playmates left. I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper also promised me.
In a town where no one is a stranger, in a place where everyone feels like family, something has happened that will change their lives forever.
Well, I just realized my mistake. That is not Uma Thurman in this movie. I know I said Uma Thurman's in this, but no, that is not her. That is actually Sarah Polley, who just won the Oscar this year for Woman Talking, and she's going to do the new Bambi movie. And she's been an actress for a long time. She was in the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead movie. So I apologize to Sarah Polley. I'm sorry I got you confused with Uma Thurman, but regardless, it's going to make it hard for me to talk about this movie now. This is Adam Egoyan, who gave us Exotica. This is his follow-up to that film, based off the novel of the same name, and it tells the story of the school bus accident in the small town that kills 14 children, and the class action lawsuit follows, providing divisive issues in the community and becoming tied with personal and family issues. You see the cast in there. Besides Sarah Polley, you have Ian Holm, Maury Chaykin, Bruce Greenwood, Gabriel Rose, Alberta Watson. Just a really good cast in this movie, and a really engaging storyline. Like, it's a really intense movie. Like, it really does keep you on the edge of your seat, thinking, how is this going to work out in the end? And you get invested by it. You get invested by everything that goes on in this movie, because you get so attached to the characters and the situations that they end up going through here. The performances in this movie are really damn good. I mean, Ian Holm in this film is fantastic. I think this is one of his strongest performances. He's always been a terrific actor, and Bruce Greenwood really is splendid in this film. Sarah Polley, I know I confused you for Uma Thurman, but I remember that she actually was really good in the film. I mean, she shows what her range. Like, she's not only a great writer and director, but she was a great actress back in the day. I mean, to do this and then follow that up with Dawn of the Dead, and then being in stuff like The Adventures of Baron Munchausen and Go and Splice and just these other movies here. I mean, she's got a lot of talent. That she's definitely one of the more underrated entertainers working in the business, and this is an engaging movie. It's probably maybe my second favorite film Adam Egoyan has done, behind Exotica. I think it is a really investing movie. It's a really great film, a really good film taking place in the snow. It's everything that I like about the movies like this. I mean, I like movies that take place in the snow. Like, the sight of winter is just something that's really incredible to look at, and this movie is definitely one of the best examples of it. If you have not seen The Sweet Hereafter, I'd highly recommend checking that one out. So, on to the last movie that we have here, and that is called Lilies.
The confession will take place in the chamber.
In 1912, we're rehearsing the life and death of Saint Sebastian. I am a bishop. You should speak to a judge. Remember, I was cast as the saint.
So this is a film where a bishop comes to prison to hear the confessions of an old friend. He's forced to watch a play performed by the inmates about their youth together, love and betrayal. And it's another one of these movies that you can tell that there's a more of an emphasis of gay people and lesbian couples and LGBTQ in these movies that we've been talking about, because we've been getting more and more of these, specifically in the last couple of weeks and months that we've delved into the movies on here. As far as this one goes, I've never seen it, so I don't know if it's any good or not. It got a lot of awards when it came out. It was nominated for 14 Genie Awards, which is basically the Canadian version of the Academy Awards, and it won Best Picture. And yeah, I don't really know for certain if it's any good or not, but when you get those type of awards, I mean, that usually means you have something of quality, one would think. But, yeah, other than that, though, I don't really know too much about this one, so I don't really know if it's any good or not, but, came out this weekend, so that's Lily's.
Making out, right? And they hear over the radio that this lunatic killer's escaped from an insane asylum.
That's not the way it goes. The boy goes for help, and the girl stays in the car, and she hears this, like, scratching sound.
No, he's been decapitated. No, he was gutted with a hook. Oh my gosh.
He's dead.
We can't just leave him here.
Oh, tell me, little Miss Prelaw, what's the charge for manslaughter? Make a pact. Right here, now we take the sorry grave.
For the last year, 4 friends have kept a secret.
Are you on drugs? No. Then what is wrong? I've had a rough year.
But not all secrets stay buried.
Somebody sent this to me. Oh my God.
Someone knows.
I know what you did last summer. Ooh.
What they thought would be a new beginning.
Toast to us.
Is becoming a dead end.
Somebody tried to kill you last night. We have to go to the police.
If you want to be dead, you could have done it.
And the mistake they made.
It was an accident.
There was no accident. It was murder.
What if he's still alive? Hey!
What are you doing here?
Is coming back to haunt them.
Oh my gosh.
He's after me too. I got a letter. I got run over. Helen gets her hair chopped off. Julie gets a body in a truck, and you get a letter? That's balance.
He's waiting for us to unravel.
Wait is over.
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting
Summer.
Even though this technically came out around Halloween, but I digress. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Kevin Williamson's follow-up after he wrote Scream, which was the big breakout hit of '96, and this film was also a very big success too. Maybe not on the levels of Scream, but it did become a #1 hit. It was the #1 hit at the box office for 3 consecutive weeks. It grossed over $125 million worldwide on a budget of $17 million. It was seen as a big hit, and it helped to, along with Scream, to revitalize the slasher genre in the 1990s, even though Williamson's concept for this entire movie was basically to make a straightforward 1980s era slasher film. And really, if you like those movies, you'd probably like this one as well, because it's literally just that. I mean, it's literally that kind of a movie. 4 people, they're stalked by this hook-wielding killer 1 year ago after covering up the car accident where they killed him. And you can kind of see where everything is going here. This one draws inspiration from the urban legend of the Hook and also the slasher films of the 80s, Prom Night, House on Sorority Row, the big examples here. This does not have the satirical edge that Scream does, even though there's elements in here where you kind of think that they're kind of going to be funny about it, but you don't really know for sure. Like, the whole thing about them is like that scene in the trailer where Freddie Prinze Jr. is just like, I got a letter, and Ryan Felipe's just like, I got hit by a car. Sarah Michelle Gellar's just like, I got my hair cut off. Like, who is this killer, and how the hell does he get inside this Sarah Michelle Gellar's house and cut her hair like that without anybody even noticing that she's even there? It's just like, it's a weird movie. Like, it's not as good as Scream, the original Scream, but in a way I kind of admire it. But other than that, though, the kills in this movie aren't even really all that strong in here. I mean, as you watch along, you can kind of figure out where it's going to go. It doesn't really have a whole lot there that makes it anything too memorable and all that much, but didn't matter because the film was a big success and eventually led to a sequel that came out literally a year afterward, which is absolutely horrible. It's nowhere near as memorable as this film is, and yeah, and thus the franchise eventually came from this. And really, I think, but even though Kevin Williamson himself even said that this was intended specifically for a one-film movie, but of course, that's not going to stop the studio from making more than one film. So they basically told him, make another one for us, and he later returned. He didn't even return to write the second film. He basically went on to work on Scream 2, which would come out in a couple months after this film did, and yeah, you could definitely tell that his presence in the second film was clearly missing. And yeah, the film overall it's a mixed bag. I mean, it's not a great film overall. It certainly doesn't compare to Scream, but it's not a terrible movie either. It's a film that's just kind of like, it's there. It's nothing too exciting, nothing too crazy. It's just, it's there, and it's not really all that memorable. I mean, at least in my opinion, it really isn't all that memorable, but it certainly pales in comparison to Scream, and it just, to me personally, it just didn't work for me. I mean, I know a lot of people really like it, and it did lead to another era of slasher movies that still continues to this very day, but that's just what it is. I mean, the film was a big hit, and I really don't have anything else to say about this one. I know what you did last summer, so let's go ahead and move on to a much better horror-type film that came out this particular weekend. Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino as the devil in The Devil's Advocate.
A young attorney has the chance of a lifetime.
Bill Chadwick Waters, we want you to come to New York. All expenses, first class, travel and lodging. You and your wife.
Oh my God. He will enter a place of wealth and ambition.
We've got 40 partners vested at the moment. In addition to our corporate clients, we're currently representing about 25 foreign countries. He's got you scheduled for 15 minutes, so make the most of it.
John Milton.
Kevin Lomax.
Well, what's that like? One day you put them away, next day you're setting them free.
Takes a little getting used to.
Pays better though, doesn't it?
Welcome to Babylon, Ma.
Speak of the devil.
A world of power and seduction.
Who's that with the senator?
Controlled by one man.
I swear he can hear us. Hell, he can smell us.
He will make your dreams come true.
Want to come upstairs and...
Now?
He will grant your fondest wish.
I'm just warming my hands on your talent. You know what I see? I see the future of this law firm.
He knows your greatest fear.
Milton is into everything. Arms brokering, chemical weapons, toxic waste, money laundering for the Eastern Bloc. I mean, it goes on and on.
I don't like it here, Kevin.
And he knows the price of your soul.
Let's make a play.
Who are you? Oh, I have so many names. I'm here on the ground with my nose in it since the whole thing began. God likes to watch. He's an absentee landlord.
Keanu Reeves.
He's always been there. I know that now.
Al Pacino.
As God sleeps late.
We will win.
It's my time now.
The Devil's Advocate.
It's Al Pacino as the devil. I mean, that's all you really need to sell this movie on, and pretty much that's why that's the main reason why this movie is so damn memorable, because Al Pacino as the devil is just pitch perfect casting, and you see that he's given it his all in this movie. In fact, everybody in this movie is giving it their all. I mean, Keanu Reeves is very good in here, so Charlize Theron, directed by Taylor Hackford, co-written by Tony Gilroy. The cast also includes Jeffrey Jones, Judith Ivey, Connie Nielsen, Craig T. Nelson, Heather Matarazzo, Delroy Lindo's in here as well. Like, there's a really good cast in here and a really good concept that just works because specifically of Al Pacino. I mean, I just think that nobody else could have played this role better in this particular film. And, Keanu Reeves decided on this film instead of starring in Speed 2, despite having a potentially $11 million payday on that film, which you know what? Good for him, man. He made the right choice. Even though I really like Speed 2 as a guilty pleasure film, he made the right call on this film because he picked a real winner of a film, and mostly it was because of the fact that he has Al Pacino as his co-star, and it's just a really good movie. It's a really ambitious film with a lot of good thrilling moments, some good horrifying moments as well. I like a mix. It's I think Roger even says it best. It's like kind of a mix between, you know, John Grisham and The Exorcist, and you could definitely tell the concepts in there. Not as strict as The Exorcist is, but it's a really good movie. I don't think I need to say too much more about this film. Watch it just for Al Pacino alone as the devil. He is having the time of his life with this film, and it's a great movie. It's a really, really great film. I can't recommend this one enough. Devil's Advocate, check it out. Let's go on to the next movie here, which in some cases could be seen as a horror movie, but in other cases it's a comedy. It's Rowan Atkinson starring as Mr. Bean in Bean.
In England, he is a national treasure. In Australia, he is a beloved icon. In our small island in the Pacific, he is worshipped as a god. And this fall, he's coming to America.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bean.
Bean? I can't say I've heard of him.
They say he's a man whose incontrovertible genius dwarfs our own meager talent.
Now, the safety of a $50 million masterpiece
Whistler's mother is returning at last to America.
is in the caring hands of one man.
Of the most intelligent people you've ever met, well, at number one with a bullet is Dr. Bean.
His style is unique.
He's a genius, huh?
Well, he looks like a fruitcake to me. His talent is legendary.
I appreciate that on first viewing seems a little eccentric.
His technique is astonishing.
Yeah, maybe I should just go in and help.
Sylvia, no, the doctor is in complete control of the situation.
And he's got something to say to all of us.
Are you presently on any kind of medication?
Not that I know.
Well, you can certainly use some.
Gramercy Pictures presents
Brace yourself.
Where's the picture gone?
Oh, jeez! Oh, God! Oh, God!
Rowan Atkinson, the new face of comedy. Bean.
Now listen, I am begging you, behave rationally today.
Of course, if you don't know who Mr. Bean is basically a silent comedian that most of his dialogue that he has is just noises that come out of his mouth. Once in a while he'll talk, but Rowan Atkinson's basically doing it through, you know, noises and all that type of stuff, and it's really funny in shorts. And Mr. Bean was very popular overseas, and it took a long time for him to get over to America to eventually become famous here. This thing had been in development for nearly 7 years. I mean, this was first announced as a movie by Fox in 1991 because they took 2 shorts from the TV series. They took 2 sketches and made them into short films. Mr. Bean Takes an Exam and Mr. Bean Goes to a Premiere, which you can find online. They recently just put both of them on there not too long ago, and they're easy to find on there. And that was the testing ground to see if this Mr. Bean could make it as a film. And the movie itself is really funny, and I like how this movie has 2 different versions. Like, the trailers for the international film sell it as literally the ultimate disaster movie, and you can see in the film, if you've seen it, why that is. And it's interesting because the North American version actually includes an additional scene where they take one of the most iconic Mr. Bean moments, where he gets his head stuck inside of a turkey from the Christmas episode, and they put it in this movie. And according to Atkinson, the different scenes were the result of very different reactions from the North American and international audiences in test screenings. So it's very interesting to see these two different elements to this film, from the American version and the international version. I grew up with the one from America, and I mean, it's a funny movie, man. It's a really good film, and you got a great cast around this character. Peter McNichol from Ally McBeal, Pamela Reed, Burt Reynolds is in here, Larry Drake, Sandra Oh, Johnny Galecki, Andrew Lawrence, Peter Capaldi from Doctor Who. Just a really good cast, and the comedy in here is so funny. Like, I can't remember. It's like I forgot how funny this movie can really be, and there's moments in here that are still very funny after all these years. I mean, the way he handles the Mona Lisa, the Whistler's mother picture after he sneezes on it, that's great stuff. I mean, the scene early on when he's on the airplane, he's trying to get this kid to laugh, and he's getting very sick, and the kid pukes in the what do you call it? The little bag that they give you. I can't remember what it is right now. But and then Bean shows it, and then Bean takes the bag, blows up like a balloon, and puts it over this guy's head, and you just puke all over him. Like, that's a funny way to handle gross out humor like that. And the movie overall is really funny. I will say the last maybe 30 minutes or so do kind of lag a little bit, but it's not a terrible movie by any means. It's still a really funny movie. And I think the second movie, Mr. Bean's Holiday, is actually a far superior film, because it kind of fixes all the glitches from the first movie and actually makes for a really good film on that front. But I really like this movie, man. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was very funny. I thought it was very unique. It's very well done, and this is my introduction to Mr. Bean, and this is my introduction to Rowan Atkinson. I know he was in The Lion King, which I watched before then, but this is the first time I even knew who he was, and I had no idea that he was also this great actor who had also done stuff like Blackadder, and then starring in stuff like Four Weddings and a Funeral, and then later on Love Actually. This is a great movie, man. I love this movie so much. Is mostly for the first hour of the film. The third act kind of drags it a little bit, but at the same time, it's not terrible. But the first hour is just so funny. I think it's more than worth it in the end just to see it. I mean, even if you don't like the Mr. Bean shorts, you should watch this movie, and you'll definitely get some really good laughs out of it. At least in my personal opinion, you do. So, yeah, that is Bean for you. So with that said, on to the next movie, and that is David Duchovny in Playing God.
Dr. Eugene Sands just got a job offer he's not sure of.
You've got to embrace your criminal self.
Maybe he doesn't have a criminal self.
Now, his new practice isn't perfect.
You gonna hurt me? Are you asking because you're afraid? I'm just trying to plan my day.
And he's running out of patience.
He's dead. Excellent. I'll see what I can do.
David Duchovny.
Relax, Ray. Have a smoke.
Playing God, rated R. Starts Friday, October 6th.
Of course, this is David Duchovny in his first starring role after achieving success with The X-Files. An opportunity for him to branch out as a movie star, and needless to say, this was not the best successful way to do it. He plays the surgeon who has his medical license revoked after operating under the influences, and Timothy Hutton plays a crime lord who happens upon him in a bar, and where he saves someone's life with an emergency procedure to inflate a collapsed lung. And he hires Sands as his personal physician, patching up his accomplices when they cannot go to a hospital, and tending to the crime boss and his girlfriend, played in this movie by Angelina Jolie. And Jolie and Duchovny eventually become involved and must face conflicting loyalties to Timothy Hutton's character. And you've seen this type of movie before, and the movie itself, they knew it was bad. Like, this is a film that was delayed several times because they couldn't get a positive reaction from test audiences. There actually was scenes from the trailer that were basically edited out of the final film, and even David Duchovny has gone on to say that it was a mistake because they didn't have a script ready and should have just bailed out when he had the chance. And needless to say, you can kind of see why. If you have all these names in here and you've never seen this movie and you've never even heard of this movie before, because I certainly didn't, but that should probably tell you something right away, that this was not going to be a good film whatsoever. And unfortunately, it's not. It's a film that we've seen done to death so many times already, and it's not an enjoyable film. It's a really lackluster movie, and you can see why it has not had the longevity that it should have. So that's Playing God. Let's go ahead and move on to the next film, and that is Kevin Bacon in Telling Lies in America.
The year was 1961.
Name's Billy Madden.
I'm gonna be him someday.
So you ever ridden in a Cadillac car before?
Sure, lots of times.
Archie Jonas was searching for the American dream.
So when are you gonna go out with me, Daddy?
You ever been out on a date before?
Sure, lots of times.
Talk to the next man. Call Sweet and Hunt or something.
And he thought he found it.
You're the nasty kid.
Sure, lots
of times.
How are you, darling?
I am not your darling.
You're real killer studs, Liv.
Joe Esterhouse's big follow-up after the infamous 1995 of Showgirls and Jade. And, it's at least a little better. It's gotten better reviews than those two movies did, so a step in the right direction? I don't know for certain. You've got Brad Renfro playing this high school student, an immigrant from Hungary, who's trying to find his way in the world. He meets this radio personality played by Kevin Bacon, takes him under his wing, and now authorities are after him because he's accepting payola from record companies to give their songs airtime. And Bacon's character picks this guy who figures that he'll cheat to win his radio contest, and he realizes he'd be perfect to associate with Bacon's scam. And I mean, like I said, it's a step in the right direction for Joe Esterhouse after the year he had, but this movie doesn't have really a whole lot of memorability to it. You see Maximilian Schell's and also in here, Callista Flockhart, Luke Wilson, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, some notable names in here, but it's a pretty forgettable movie. I watched it once long time ago, and I don't remember too much about it, so... And from what I remember from it, not that great, but could be. I'd have to check it out again just to be sure, but that's pretty much all I know about this one, Telling Lies in America. So let's go ahead and move on to the last one we have here, Russell Crowe and Salma Hayek in Breaking Up.
It was always better if we, did it before we left. Takes the pressure off the rest of it. Every time I knew I was going to see him, there was like this electricity coming out of me.
You thinking about going out, we're gonna go to bed later?
Not because we were desperate. I guess I thought that it meant that you loved me. That's all.
She loves me not. I love her. I mean, people are living real lives. People have serious problems. We're still running around like we're teenagers.
Could you please not disappear in the middle of the night like some thief? Just this once, I'd like to get a good night's sleep, okay?
Yeah, if you got a movie with Russell Crowe, who was then coming off of LA Confidential, and Salma Hayek, who was in Desperado, Fools Rush In, and From Dusk Till Dawn, and nobody really remembers it, that's probably not a good sign for this particular movie. This is based off of a stage play by Michael Christopher, the writer of this, and directed by Robert Greenwald, who gave us Xanadu, and after this movie went on to direct several documentaries about, Uncover the War in Iraq, We Think Afghanistan, Fox, Walmart, The High Cost of Low Price, Unmanned American Drone Wars, Koch Brothers Exposed. He went on to become a serious documentary director after this particular film, and quite frankly, you can kind of see why, because this just wasn't really flying. I mean, you don't really buy into the chemistry between Hayek and Crowe. The movie just feels lifeless. There's nothing really about it that makes it unique or enjoyable, and it just kind of feels like nothing of interest is going on in this movie whatsoever. And you can see why it's very forgettable. It's not that great of a movie. It's a really lackluster film with two actors who should make this material work, and they just really do not. So yeah, that's Breaking Up for you.
Genetics. What can it mean? The ability to perfect the physical and mental characteristics of every unborn child.
Of genetic engineering to choose the genes.
In the not-too-distant future, our DNA will determine everything about us. A minute drop of blood, saliva, or a single hair determines where you can work, who you should marry, what you're capable of achieving. In a society where success is determined by science, divided by the standards of perfection, one man's only chance.
How do you expect to pull this off? I don't know exactly.
Is to hide his own identity.
This is the last day that you're going to be you and I'm going to be me.
By borrowing someone else's.
Congratulations. What about the interview? That was it.
Do you think you'd be doing what you're doing if it wasn't for who you are, what you are?
I have a feeling you might be there under false pretenses of playing somebody else's hand. They've got my picture plastered up all over the place. They don't recognize me. They don't recognize me.
They don't recognize me. I don't recognize you. They won't believe that one of their elite could have suckered them all this time.
They are going to find me.
But in a place where any cell from any part of your body can betray you, how do you hide? When we all shed 500 million cells a day. Ethan Hawke, Uma Thurman. Welcome to Gattaca.
Of course, this is written and directed by Andrew Niccol, who would later go on to write The Truman Show, which came out the year after this, but he'd also direct stuff like Simone, Lord of War, a very good, underrated Nicolas Cage movie, which is probably my favorite movie of his. He also did the infamous In Time, which is not the best movie. In fact, it's not really a good movie whatsoever. And then he followed that up with The Host, which was basically a Twilight knockoff, and needless to say, his career certainly has gone much lower than how it started, because this is a really, really entertaining movie. You got Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman in here, as well as Jude Law, and it presents a biopunk version of a future society driven by eugenics, where potential children are conceived through genetic selection to ensure they possess the best hereditary traits of their parents. And basically, you have a guy who's conceived outside that program and struggles to overcome genetic discrimination to realize his dream of going into space. And the film touches on stuff like reproductive technologies that facilitates eugenics, the possible consequences of such technological developments for societies, and also examines the idea of destiny and the ways in which it can and does govern lives. And you have characters here continuing the battle both with society and with themselves to find their place in the world, and who are they determined to be according to their genes. And you could say that this movie was pretty much ahead of its time. I mean, we talk about this stuff nowadays, and this is the film that kind of brought it up pretty early on. This was right before they even tried This is right before they even tried cloning, when they tried to clone the Dolly the sheep, and that didn't turn out well whatsoever. And the movie itself really is a smart, very intelligent film, and it works because you have a great cast to work around with. Ethan Hawke is very good in here, along with Uma Thurman, Jude Law, Alan Arkin you see in the trailer, Lauren Dean. Even Gore Vidal has a role in this movie. Alexander Berkeley, you have Jane Brooke, Elias Koteas, Maya Rudolph, Blair Underwood, Tony Shalhoub, Dean Norris, Ken Marino. I mean, there's a lot of notable names in this movie, and they're all throughout the course of this film. And it's a visually stylistic film. It's a very nice-looking film that looks very reminiscent to something on the lines of Blade Runner and all these different dystopian-type films. It has its own unique edge to it, though, that makes it really impressive for what it was trying to do. And it's a really damn good movie. And it's a film that works here better than it did with In Time, which this director used a lot of influence on, calling it a bastard child of Gattaca. But the differences between that and this In Time and this movie is that this is actually a good film, and In Time is a steaming pile of garbage, which, if you've seen that movie, you'd probably agree with me, because it was not a very good film, and quite frankly, I don't know why anybody would think it was good anyway, but, excuse me, but that's just my personal take on it. But this is a very intense movie. It's a very visually stylistic film, has great acting all around, a great story, a great deeper meaning behind it. I mean, it's a really good allegory for what was going on at the time, and some of the stuff that we get to down the road here. And it's a well-done film. It's a really well-done film that did not do well at the box office whatsoever. It was seen as a flop at the time, but got the critical reception and actually has had a cult following ever since then. And you can see why. It's a really, really impressive film. I can't recommend this one enough. Gattaca, fantastic film. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie here. The Mel Gibson-produced family film, Fairy Tale, A True Story.
Do you believe in fairies?
Francis and Elsie shared a life
of whispered secrets and make-believe. Until one day, they happen to make the biggest discovery of the 20th century.
Someone, did you see it? We're taking a photograph.
Oh, good heavens. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it.
So you believe in fairies, do you?
I wouldn't see them if I didn't.
Now, they're out to prove to the world.
The game's over. How'd you do it?
We just took the photographs, Dad.
It's not what you see with your eyes that's important.
You believe you've got fairies at the bottom of your garden?
Do I look like someone who believes in fairies?
It's what you know in your heart.
Why haven't I ever seen any of them? Grown-ups don't know how to believe.
From the Academy Award-winning producer of Forrest Gump and the Academy Award-winning producer of Braveheart.
Come out from your fairy bower. Come upon this golden hour.
Comes a motion picture event
I'm going! Is it a fairy?
the whole family can believe in.
The truth now!
Leave her alone. The fairies are going to come out and kick your butt.
Sure they are.
Oh!
Fairy Tale, a true story. This year, the holidays are more magical than ever.
Is it whimsical enough for you yet, kiddies? Because this trailer is telling you to be mystified, be whimsy, and all that type of stuff. And just, it's, needless to say, this is not a pretty good movie. I mean, it's a film that has potential to work in several areas. I mean, this is a film that has a lot of high ambitions. It's supposedly based on a story on the Cottingley fairies, and it follows these two children in 1917 England who take a photograph and are soon believed to be the first scientific evidence of the existence of fairies. And you think there'd be a good idea to it, you think there'd be some charm to the film, but really when you watch the movie overall, it's just not there. The fairies in particular here are not that well designed. There's nothing really all that memorable about them whatsoever. It just feels like what you would see from a studio executive who said, we need to make a movie that brings in magical elements like fairies and mystical creatures like this. Oh, and let's have Arthur Conan Doyle in this movie as well as Harry Houdini. Like, you see some notable people in here. Arthur Conan Doyle, Elsie Wright, Harry Houdini, Francis Griffiths. Peter Pan is in this movie for a play. But it's just, I think it was too ambitious for its own good. It's a film that has some elements of magic to it, but at the same time, there's just nothing really there that makes it anything unique or exciting about it. It just feels like a film that was put together by a committee at a studio and said, what do we do to want to create our own Disney caliber adventure film, and just do that. And needless to say, the movie did not transpire so well on the big screen. It had some good intentions to it, but it just really didn't live up to the potential that it really had. It's a mostly forgettable film, despite some pretty good performances all around in here. I mean, Peter O'Toole's pretty good in here as Conan Doyle. Harvey Keitel's pretty good as Harry Houdini. There's even Mel Gibson playing a sergeant in this, which is a pretty interesting little cameo there. Bill Nighy's in here as well. So it has some elements to it that do kind of work, but at the same time, nothing there to really recommend it. It's a film that's mostly forgotten. Much like our last movie, which is Danny Boyle's follow-up to Trainspotting. This is Ewan McGregor and Cameron Diaz in
He cut in on me. You're the worst kidnapper I've ever met.
Well, I'm trying to do my best here under really difficult circumstances.
Have you even asked for a ransom yet?
Luckily your daughter here, and I'm going to send her back in pieces unless... Oh, I'm sorry, madam. No, I must have dialed the wrong number.
I want her back, and I want him dead.
You want we should kill him?
Yes.
That's extra.
Not gonna kill him.
How much you asking for?
$500,000.
$500,000 is not a lot of money for a woman like me.
I didn't mean it as a reflection of you as an individual.
I remember the good old days.
Don't even ask where I'm going.
Don't even imagine that I care.
All you have to do is introduce a man and a woman. Fate should be the rest. Doesn't work like that anymore.
Just for a minute, I thought we were in trouble.
Are you gonna leave?
We haven't got our money yet.
No. This is insane.
I'd like to make a withdrawal.
Oh, we're great. No cliches.
Have you ever felt like you're not in control of events?
Yes?
What's wrong?
I thought you were going to shoot me!
I'm having a great time!
Oh, good!
Maybe you try to have sex with me.
No. What? No. She said I feel sorry and you punch her in the face. I got a gun! That makes everything all right, does it?
What's he gonna do with him? Shoot him in the back of the head. Would that be a problem for you?
Speaking of films with a lot of ambition and not that good of an execution, A Life Less Ordinary, you follow these two angels, played by Delroy Lindo and Holly Hunter, who are sent to Earth to make a disgruntled kidnapper, played by Ewan McGregor, and his hostage, played by Cameron Diaz, fall in love with each other. There's a little bit of some elements of another movie that Fox did 14 years prior to this, Two of a Kind, with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, which kind of has the similar concept to it, only this one, at least this one, is trying to make it make sense instead of that movie where it's just like the whole fate of the world depends on John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John getting together in that movie because of the God played by Gene Hackman. And no joke, Gene Hackman played God in that movie, and that was not a good movie. But this, I won't say it's bad, but considering that he did Trainspotting before this, it's definitely a major step down. This is a film that was coming when Danny Boyle was kind of in a low point, kind of in like a lull. He was after Trainspotting, he did a couple of mediocre films like A Life Less Ordinary, and then followed this up with The Beach. But then he kind of slowly but surely gained his traction back with stuff like 28 Days Later, then Sunshine, Slumdog Millionaire, of course, that won Best Picture, 127 Hours, all these great movies that came after that. This is still kind of the lull. I mean, this is not a film that's really all that great, despite the best efforts of both Ewan McGregor and Cameron Diaz, and even Holly Hunter and Delroy Lindo. You also have Ian Holm, Dan Hedaya, Stanley Tucci, Maury Chaykin, Tony Shalhoub, Timothy Olyphant's in here as well. Just the story and the ideas are just not executed as well as I thought they were. I think Fox basically gave Danny Boyle the option to do whatever he wanted after they saw what happened with Trainspotting and say, this guy has the potential to do whatever he wants and make something good. Let's give him the keys to the kingdom. And it just didn't work out that way. And of course, the next film probably was the thing that stroked the camel's back for Danny Boyle, for him to say, I've got to get back on track and make some good movies again, which followed that up with 28 Days Later. But for this movie, it's just not that enjoyable. It's a film that really has some promising aspects to it, has some good ambitions to it, but the execution just doesn't work. It doesn't work very well here. The jokes overall are not that strong. It's just not an entertaining film. It's a film that's very, very disappointing and kind of a major letdown considering what Boyle had just done before this with Trainspotting. So yeah, that's A Life Less Ordinary for you.
In a foreign land,
Jack Moore.
a brilliant attorney is accused of murder.
I want to talk to my embassy. Please translate this.
But how do you fight for justice?
You already ventured my coffin. Bam! Bam! Bam!
With only 7 days to prove your innocence?
May I see your passport? If I had a passport, I wouldn't need asylum.
Richard Gere,
You are in contempt.
What do you think? I shoot me twice?
Red Corner, rated R. Starts Friday.
I mean, the premise right there is a straightforward premise, and it's not even an interesting premise whatsoever. I mean, Richard Gere plays this American businessman in China who ends up wrongfully accused of murder. His only hope of exoneration and freedom is this female defense lawyer from the country. But the problem is he can't understand what everybody's saying around him, and it feels like in that trailer that you see there, everybody in China is conspiring against this guy for no real reason except they just believe what they want to believe, and like, is there even really a point to this movie whatsoever? What am I supposed to take from this movie? Am I supposed to take the fact that everyone in China is an asshole? Am I supposed to take the fact that Richard Gere is supposed to be an asshole? Like, the trailers for this do not set this movie up at all. Like, I don't know who to root for in this situation here. Like, it's not an interesting courtroom thriller whatsoever. You can't get behind anybody. You don't get behind the people in China that are just trying to do their job, even though there may be some conspiracies going on with the way they're handling this. You can't even get invested in Richard Gere because he's just such an asshole of a character that you can't really get a whole lot from him in this movie. I mean, this is a film that is just it just looks so bland and so uninspired, and there's nothing about it whatsoever. The film is more notable for its controversy in the People's Republic of China because of the way that the China judicial system in this movie is presented. I mean, they hated the fact that it's presented this way, and when you look at this, you can see why. It looks like that in this movie, they just don't care about actually going into their job. They just want to get rid of this. They just want to put this guy behind bars and punish him or something like that. It's just like the movie itself just feels like a movie that is just, it's trying to say some big political statement about the country, and it just fails to really figure out what it kind of incentive it wants to be just from the trailers alone. And I have no real interest in seeing this movie whatsoever. I mean, this looks like a movie that just is offensive on so many levels, not just for the people of China, but also for the fact that it's against Americans as a whole from the side of China. And it's just like, it just really just does not work at all. And this is one of several movies that was coming out at the time where the head of the Motion Picture Association of America, Jack Valenti, had to address Chinese film officials to ban cooperation with the Hollywood studios that produced this film, 7 Years in Tibet, and also Kundun, because they were films that viciously attacked China and hurt Chinese people's feelings. Although all kinds of efforts have been made that these three American companies are still pushing out above films in order to protect China's national overall interest, it has been decided that all business cooperation with these three companies to be ceased temporarily without exception. And I mean, that just pretty much tells you everything you need to know. If that's the most memorable thing about the movie, then the movie itself. I mean, yeah, so, this is going to be a fun one. I can already tell. I'm just kidding, by the way. Let's just keep going. Here's another bland, forgettable movie that we have here. Dennis Quaid and Danny Glover in Switchback.
Friday. You won't know where.
You ever seen anything like that before?
Yes. You won't know when.
He began to see the murders as a competition.
You won't know who.
I hope we're hunting the right man.
Until it's too late.
Who are you?
From the producer of Terminator and Aliens.
No prints, no weapon, no witnesses.
Dennis Quaid, Danny Glover. Switchback, rated R, everywhere this Friday.
I mean, was it supposed to look like that Danny Glover was flying up in the air in that shot? I mean, what the hell was he even doing in there? Was he jumping off of something, or was he just like, it looked like some bad visual effects, honestly. When I keep looking at it, I'm trying to think, what the hell is he doing? Like, he's just got his arms up in the air, and he's just like, ah! Like he's flying up in the air for no reason at all. But this film is about an FBI agent who tracks his son's kidnapper to Amarillo, Texas, where two lawmen are seeking to use this case in the election bid. And you see Dennis Quaid, Danny Glover, Jared Leto's also in the film, so is Ted Levine, William Fichtner, Arlie Ermey, and it's the feature film directorial debut for Jeb Stewart, who is also the writer of Die Hard. And I don't know, it looks too silly for its own good, and again, kind of like with Red Corner, I don't know if I'm supposed to like these characters or not. You could barely hear Dennis Quaid throughout the course of the trailers that I saw for this. And I don't know what Danny Glover was doing in this. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see Danny Glover play something a little bit off character from what we're used to seeing from the Lethal Weapon movies, but at the same time, I still don't know what the hell he's trying to do in these trailers here. But it's a largely forgettable film. I mean, it came and went. I mean, you don't usually Halloween is kind of like a semi-dumping ground for several movies. I mean, it's not as bad as something like January or the dumping grounds between late August and early September, but it's certainly a weekend when nobody puts out their really best stuff. I mean, they don't really put out their best stuff on Halloween weekend because, for obvious reasons, people want to go out trick-or-treating and do other things, go to Halloween parties instead of going to see these generic, bland, mediocre movies here. And Switchback is another example of one of those movies. And here's another one. James Spader in Critical Care.
Got a 19-year-old with a potentially severe head injury.
Does the patient have coverage?
Excuse me?
What difference does insurance make? This must be the generation game.
What do you think, medicine boy?
Worry about you, Dr. Warner. Life of no sleep and prodigious sex, not healthy.
What are you saying?
I'm blackmailing you.
Your first lawsuit, when I heard that, I had to have you in for a drink.
Lawsuits connected to your future.
It was your fault, and you don't deserve to be on my team. And if it wasn't your fault, then you're not lucky, and I don't want anyone on my team who is lucky.
Yet another bland, mediocre-looking film, directed by Sidley Lumet of all people, which he was kind of in a lull at this point. I mean, he'd done stuff that we've talked about on here that was not that great. Q&A, Stranger Among Us, Guilty of Sin, Night Falls on Manhattan, and this movie, which has James Spader in it, of course, and Kira Sedgwick, Helen Mirren, Anne Bancroft, Albert Brooks, Jeffrey Wright, Margot Martindale, Wallace Shawn, Philip Bosco, Colin Feore, Edward Herrmann. There are notable names in this movie, but the film is basically about a doctor who finds himself involved in a fight with two half-sisters over the care of their ailing father, and this doesn't look like a movie that they were proud of. This looks like a movie that was dumped on, probably was supposed to go to a theatrical release, but was later dumped on home video because they saw it and they were just like, "There's no way we could sell this movie. This looks like this is not a good looking film." Who knows? I don't know. Maybe the movie actually is something worth it, but I sincerely doubt it. I mean, you probably didn't even know it even existed before I even brought it up, did you? Did you? So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you on that one. God, this is a horrible one, but we're almost done. This is the next movie we have here. Claire Danes and Jude Law starring in I Love You Not.
He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. He loves me not.
Meet Daisy. She doesn't really fit in.
In the middle of Central Park and she's reading a book.
And everybody knows it.
Watch out. You might catch what she's got. What's that? Weirdness. Hey, girl, studying hard.
Yeah.
What's wrong with your friend? Can't she speak?
Daisy.
I mean, haven't we seen this stuff done before? I mean, seriously. I don't even need to show you the rest of the trailer to show that we've seen this stuff done before. I mean, there's nothing about this that's intriguing or new or anything different whatsoever. You basically have a story that takes place around two women, a grandmother and a granddaughter, and the grandmother tells her granddaughter of her strong and blossoming romance with this young man named Ethan, played by Jude Law, and her problems at school because she's Jewish, and she tells the story of her young life when she went through a ghetto at a concentration camp, and the romantic love between the boy and him and her are strong and genuine. And do I really need to explain more of the plot of this? It's a story we've seen done to death. There's gonna be a third act breakup. There's gonna be something that happens at the end, and it's just like, I mean, granted, in this case, it doesn't go completely third act breakup and then they get back together. No, there's actually something that actually happens in this case where it actually does make a whole lot of sense of why this isn't going to work out well. And I guess I got to give it a little bit of credit for that, judging by the plot here. But really, what else do you think this movie's going to be about? I mean, it's a film that really, it does not look like a film that looks like it's going to do anything groundbreaking or do anything unique about it to make it stand out on its own. If anything, maybe Claire Danes and Jude Law probably make it work with a good chemistry, but I don't know, man. I just don't feel like this movie was really all that worth it in the end. Plus, it doesn't have the best reviews for it, so that's pretty much all I got for you on that one. That's I Love You Not. Oh my God, this was a horrible week. I'm sorry for this, but we had to get through these. We have to go through these horrible weeks at some point. I mean, we've already gone through one a couple weeks ago, which shockingly is one of the highest viewed episodes we've done on this particular show, A Time About the Movies. The week I looked at Fire Down Below and Latin Boys Go to Hell, that was the one that got to over 100 views for reasons that are beyond me. I don't know why it went that way, but who knows? Maybe this will be another high viewing episode. But I promise you, the next episode we do here will be a much better episode than this one here, because we actually have movies that are worth talking about.